So you want to become a PvM pro. Yeah, me too. What's up guys, welcome to another video. Today what we're going to be doing is talking about the 10 PvM items that you want to work towards in 2022. Now this is something I've done in the past, right? I've done plenty of videos talking about good PvM items, and I've done actually a top 10 PvM list of items in 2019. I noticed it was 2019, I figured it was time to update this, as there's been a lot of releases since 2019 that are definitely worth working towards. Now this is only the top 10 because the video is going to get long. You guys know what I'm like, I don't want to drag it out for like half an hour. What we can do is a part 2. If you enjoy this, let me know if you want that. At the end, I'll remind you again, whatever, it's fine. But in this video, there's going to be random stuff that is going to be really useful in PvM, things that the first 10 like great items that I know you should work towards. And while there will be some overlap with past videos, most of the stuff in here should be pretty fresh and new in comparison to the last list that I did in 2019. Also, a bit of a warning, there's no specific order to this, there's not an upgrade order, and it's also like expensive stuff and also some free stuff as well that you just work towards. If you find it useful, if it gives you a goal to work towards, all that sort of stuff, then do leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and also check that you're subbed if you're not new around here. And other than that, let's get into this video and let's talk about the top 10 items that you want to unlock as a PvMer or an aspiring PvMer in RuneScape 3 in 2022. Let's go. Alright, so in no particular order, we are going to start with my favorite item in probably all of PvM, and one that I always suggest people to have, because if you don't, just get one. They're too good, they're too good, they're too good. Right, shields and defenders. Shields are freaking amazing. You need them. Defense abilities are amazing as hell, especially for learners. We don't have any runes. That's awkward. But make sure you do have a shield or a defender. Defenders are really good, to be fair. I actually would probably prefer to use a defender in most situations, unless you really are relying on the defensives, in which case, of course, a shield is better. The reason being is shields will give you access to all the defense abilities, as will defenders, but they do have differences. For example, a defender will give you a reduced duration in some things, a reduced effect on like healings and stuff from resonance, and a shield will give you longer durations, of course, that means. And then you can have things like turtling on that to increase all this sort of stuff. But a defender and a shield is so important, and every PvMer should have one, even when you are going somewhere that you probably don't need a defender. So like say you're going to God Wars 2, or you're going to God Wars 1 even for just getting log or kill count, you will notice that most people will take a shield or a defender with them because they're just too important. They're so freaking good. You want to take them along, even if it's just, I don't know, even if you don't need them. Just take one with you. It's one inventory space. Defenders and shields are too good. Defense abilities, learn your defense abilities. You will be thankful. Next up is an item that isn't actually released yet, but you should be getting ready to get, and it's the Ring of Vigour with the passive one. So in the past I mentioned the Ring of Vigour, of course. It's too good. You want to use the Ring of Vigour. What it does is it will take 10% of your ultimate adrenaline cost, make it and give it back. So at the end of when you use an ultimate, you save 10% adrenaline, okay? But it also applies to special attack weapons and anything from your Essence of Finality, as they also class as special attacks, of course. This is incredibly good because with the Extinction Quest rewards being buffed on the 25th of this month, which is April, 25th of April 2022, for anyone listening in the future, it is going to be really freaking good because you can upgrade the ring into a passive, meaning you can leave it in your bank, or it might get consumed. I'm not 100% sure, but you will be able to upgrade the ring to be a passive effect, meaning everything you use, including all Essence of Finality special attacks and stuff, the adrenaline will be reduced. You want to have this. It is going to be amazing. If you don't have it yet, or you're not ready to get it yet, obviously you don't have it yet, no one does, but for anyone in the future, if you don't have this yet, unlock it, get it. It's going to be great, and it's going to be probably one of the better upgrades that's going to release for quite a while. It's great. Reducing switchscape reducing switchscape is absolutely great, and of course, you know, the less effort we need to use for good stuff, the better. Number 3 is going to be the Essence of Finality. Seeing as we talked about the Ring of Vigour, I thought this would be a good time to mention the Essence of Finality as well. If you don't have an Essence of Finality, you're still sticking in the old days of having a Amulet of Souls or a Reaper necklace. You want to be getting an Essence of Finality at some point. These are a great upgrade. Yes, they are expensive, but they are incredible. They will allow you to put an item inside the necklace, and you can have multiple of these by dyeing them to different colors. As you can see, I do have 3 here. But when you put the item in there, if it's a special attack weapon, which is the things you can put in there, it will allow you to use that special attack without switching weapon. So in the past, you would have to equip a Gothic staff, for example, and then use that special attack. Well, now, if I have it on this Essence of Finality here, which I do, I can put that on. And while I'm using my tier 95 staff, I can actually use the Gothic's staff special attack. Let me show you how that looks. So if I use that now, you can see the Claws of Guthix does happen, but I'm using my dual wield weapons, and it actually scales the damage up to the tier that you're using too. So if you're using a Guthix staff spec, rather than it being tier 80, I think it was tier 80, it actually scales to tier 92, or tier 95 if you have a tier 95 weapon. This applies to all specialist attacks. You can use it for melee stuff like Dragon Claws, you can use it for range stuff like Dark Bow, and it is incredibly useful. I have an SGB in this one, and I have a Armadillo Battle Staff in this one. You can take as many as you want with you. They are expensive, they're really bad for death cost, but at the same time, they are worth it. They increase your damage a hell of a lot, and these are something that you will at least want to get, just at least one of these, absolutely worth the time and the money investing in getting. Item number 4, at least I think it's number 4, it'll say in editing, it's fine. But at the moment, magic is incredibly expensive to use, especially if you're using a Staff of Armadillo. But something got added to the game this year, or the end of last year, called the Grasping Rune Pouch. For anyone who doesn't know, if you don't have one of these, they're incredibly useful because it will save well, it has a chance of saving... No, it has a 25% chance of saving your runes when you cast a spell, which is incredibly useful with the Staff of Armadillo, but is also worth getting on all combat styles because it's going to be useful for using things like your Smoke Cloud when you go to certain bosses, and any of the spells you may want to take with you. And a lot of people like to take things like Intercept with them, and of course having the 4-slot rune pouch rather than the 3 is so freaking useful. These are also useful outside of PvM too, so it's definitely an upgrade that is worth buying, whether you are a PvMer or a skiller, or whether you're someone just wanting to get in there. It is definitely worth bringing. You can use your Lunas, you can put your Lunas for your Vengeance and stuff in this too. You can use your Smoke Cloud or your Intercept, all that sort of good stuff. If you are a mage, you're probably going to want to have at least 2 of these, I would say. There is a good way to set up all the runes in 2 rune pouches that will give you access to pretty much all of the spells you need. As you can see here, there's a hell of a lot. I've got my Smoke Cloud, Animate Dead, I even have Intercept, and I have all of the barrages, so it's really good. If you want to know what these are, you can sort of copy these now. You can see that one is set to this for those runes. You can pause the video, and then you can see that one is set to those runes. You can pause the video again, and you can copy those if need be. I need more water runes, rip. Next up are a couple of consumables that I wanted to tie in together, so it's going to count as 1, but it is actually 2 items. But things you should be using. A lot of people don't use these, and I always like to make the point of these because they're important and they're really, really good. They're not necessities, but they should be. Basically, it is the Adrenaline Potion, as you can see, and the Vulnerability Bombs. These are incredibly good. Adrenaline Potions, what they do is they do what they say on the tin. They give you Adrenaline really quickly. Adrenaline renewals are the best ones you can use, in my opinion at least, and they give you a lot of Adrenaline very quick. Normally, you would use them after a Sunshine, Death Swiftness, or a Berserk. I used it before, just to show you guys in the video, but you would normally use it after, allowing you to use Thresholds a lot quicker and get more damage out in your little DPS rotation while you are in the Sunshine, Death Swiftness, or Berserk. Next is the Vulnerability Bombs. Use these at the beginning of a fight and through the fight when the 1-minute timer or duration runs out. They add a 10% damage increase buff for all players attacking that target. So if you're in a duo, trio, or more, you don't actually always need to be the person to Vuln. You can take it in turns, or you can be the nice person that just like spends all your money and throws it. These are a little bit expensive, kind of like 30k each-ish, but you don't need to worry about it, right? They are absolutely worth it. A 10% damage increase for the cost of throwing one of these is 100% worth it. So make sure to use them. Next item, definitely 100% got some use in my last video, but it's the Ring of Death. The Ring of Death is just too good not to use if you are a learner or someone who is just starting in PvM. You don't have to be a full-on learner, but while you're still getting into it and getting more comfortable with certain bosses. Basically, the Ring of Death is going to reduce your death cost to a set amount of a fraction of an Onyx, basically. So the Onyx price, I believe, is actually about like 1 point something mil at the moment. I'll put on screen how much the actual death cost will be using Ring of Death at the moment making this video. The wiki will tell me. But this ring is incredibly useful, and I would definitely buy one if you are getting into PvM and you do have some decent gear. Your death cost will go up, and as long as you have this Ring of Death equipped and charged when you die, you will not go to visit death. You will just take the Ring of Death cost, as it will lose some charge as you die. But this is really important because saving death costs when you are learning is something you want to do. You are going to lose a lot of money if you don't do this. As you can see, even with just this stuff and not even my full inventory, my normal death cost will be 5 million GP. If I go and load a preset, let's have a look. I've got the preset of this one, I believe. It's probably pretty expensive. So if I load the preset and check my death cost now, 11 mil. It's 11 mil. If I die with this and not using my Ring of Death, which I don't use anymore because, you know, I just don't really need to use it that much anymore, kinda. It's 11 mil. So Ring of Death, if I wore that with this, rather than it being 11 million GP, it'd be like 1.1 mil or something like that. Is absolutely, it wouldn't even be that. It'd be a few hundred K. Yeah, it'd be a few hundred K. So it was absolutely worth using the Ring of Death. So I would suggest getting one of these if you don't have one and you are starting out in PvM and your death costs are higher than the cost of a Ring of Death. Anyway, next item. We have another double item tied into one for this one. This is going to be the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard and the Enhanced Excalibur. The Enhanced Excalibur is incredibly useful. You do need to unlock it. It takes some time to get, but you can upgrade this with these Seers tasks. I believe it is the Seers ones. Once you've done that, you get the actual effect of when you right click and press activate, it will heal your maximum life points over time, a 4% over 10 times over 40 seconds. It says it right there. But the next thing is the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, and these don't share a cooldown. You can activate this as well, and it only costs about 5.5 mil on the GE at the moment. This will restore 37% of your total prayer points over 30 seconds. So both of them have a 5-minute cooldown. You can use them both, you can take them both, and this will heal you. This will give you prayer points back. Incredibly useful to take, and there is no requirements for this. You can just buy it off the Grand Exchange straight away. Nice and cheap these days. Absolutely worth bringing along in most situations. Number 8. I think it's number 8. It's fine either way. But we're running towards the war shop for this one because it's really important to go there and we actually get a change of scenery. How good is that? So we're going to open the war shop, and in here we have the consumables. No, the unlocks. In unlocks, you want to be getting these 3 auras here, at least at some point. I mean, all of these auras are good, right? All of them are pretty damn good. They all have their uses. But the Berserk aura, the Reckless aura, and the Maniacal aura are probably going to be your best in slot auras in most situations. I use these everywhere I go when I'm PvMing, and they are relevant to each style. So Berserker aura is the best DPS aura, or the best in quotation. It depends where you are in most situations, but Berserker aura is the best for melee, Reckless the best for range, and Maniacal is the best for magic. They all boost your accuracy and your damage. They do reduce the defense that you have at the time, but don't panic about it. It doesn't matter in most situations, because if you do more damage, you have higher accuracy, you get through the kill quicker, you end up taking less damage overall anyway, because you're in there for a lot of a less time. So you have to get Marks of War for doing these, for getting these. Do that. To get Marks of War, you need to kill bosses. So as you kill God Wars Dungeon 1 bosses, God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses, you want to be saving these up and buying these auras as soon as you can, really. So if you use magic a lot, then save them by the Maniacal one first, and then if you use like range and melee, then of course apply that to whichever combat style you're using. These are worth getting. You will use them forever unless they release a brand new aura that is better, but even them, they're so strong that even if they did release another aura, we'd probably just be happy that there's more than one thing we can use. I don't really PvM in many places without the Maniacal or Reckless aura, because the accuracy that you get is just too good, and the damage increase that you get is just too good. So definitely work on getting these if you don't have them yet. Next up, we are back to the training dummies once again to show you guys the next item, which you can see in the inventory is the Cinderbane Gloves. Cinderbane Gloves have been out for a while now. They're quite old, but they are incredibly good, and they are best in slot gauntlets or gloves or whatever for all combat styles, as long as the target is poisonable. These apply poison to the target, but also when the poison triggers, it gives a chance to trigger the poison, meaning you get more damage out of it. But also you can apply it with the weapon poison too, the weapon poison plus, meaning that you get even more damage as it does stack. So we don't have enough war runes, rip. But basically, as you attack the target, you're going to get more and more poison trigger hits from it, and increasing your damage a hell of a lot. You won't see it on the dummies because they're not poisonable, but these are definitely worth grabbing. Oh, you can see it on the dummies, you saw them. But these are absolutely worth getting because they increase your damage a hell of a lot against targets that are poisonable. And it just stacks and stacks, and it just, yeah, they're just absolutely worth getting. They're quite expensive, but being best in slot for all 3 combat styles in most situations, they're absolutely worth the price tag. Number 10 is going to be something that I would recommend most people do get. Even if you don't like switching, you can put it on your main weapon or anything like that. But Planted Feet itself is definitely worth it as a switch. That being said, you want to have the Planted Feet perk every time you do PvM with magic or with ranged. What it is going to do is increase the duration of your Sunshine or your Death Swiftness by 25%. It's crazy. This is a massive DPS increase, and I do believe that with a half decent rotation, that this is the most increase in damage you can get from just one perk, just from using this. And all you need to do is have this equipped, the switch equipped, or your mana weapon, of course, if that's the easiest way for you to do it, when you use Sunshine or Death Swiftness. Then you get that big damage increase because you have a longer Death Swiftness, which of course Death Swiftness and Sunshine give you 50% increased damage while you are doing that. So it is definitely worth grabbing this. And if you don't have any perks whatsoever and you don't like switches and stuff, then you want to grab one of these because it's just if you don't have any perks, get this perk. Like, I can't say how good it is enough. It is brilliant, and you want to have this. You can get a hybrid weapon, like I believe there's a style, the Sun Spear. The Sun Spear you can use, and that can work for both styles. So you only have one Plant of Feet like perk if you don't like doing perks. But definitely grab this. You want to have it. Don't PvM without it, please. It's just too good. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this list. I hope that it has been useful for some of you people getting into PvM, or for anyone who just wanted to see if they had everything on the list. If you don't, then leave a comment down below on what items you didn't have yet and what you're working towards, and maybe someone can probably tell you what would be the best order to get them in as well if there's more than one. I will try and reply to all the comments as I normally do. I will do my best. Anyway, if it did help you out, make sure to leave a like on the video too. That way I'll get suggested to more people, and that's the reason I remade this as well, because then obviously an older version still useful, but it doesn't really have the updated stuff, and it doesn't get pushed to all the newer players as well as much as this will. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here or you just enjoy RuneScape content and aren't subbed yet. Also, if you did enjoy the music in the background, it is all available for you to listen to whenever you like, as well as if you are a content creator or an aspiring content creator, you can use the music in all your videos too. There's a link in the description. Feel free to check it out. Otherwise, thank you to the channel members for the extra support. You guys help out so much. It's absolutely crazy, and I very much appreciate it. Your names will be on screen right now. For anyone else interested, you can click the join button by the subscribe button, and you do get perks for being a channel member as well, like early videos, like you get the link straight away. So if it's up days before, you'll get it straight away. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys.